Hey, yo, what's the deal? Man, it's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I'm saying? As of this recording, it is 8:07 p.m. You know what I mean? And, it's cold as shit. You know what I'm saying? It is cold as fuck. You know what I mean? I'm just coming out the train station. You know what I mean? I'm heading home. You know what I'm saying? And, I'm hungry in the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I ain't eat anything all day. You know what I mean? I'm like fucking out of it, D. You know what I'm saying? I'm out of it. So I want to make this discussion. I want to make this discussion topic about something that I thought about while making yesterday's video. Let me just go into the turnstile. Yeah, and it's about it's about the indies, right? And it's about the narrative that homegrown talent comes from. They come out of independent promotions, right? Which I believe is cap. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more than cap. And I'm going to tell you why. When you think of the term in pro wrestling, when you think of the term homegrown talent, right? The first thing I think about is, homegrown talent created from a developmental, right? And I give you a great example, okay? I give you a great example. Look at people like Braun Breaker. Look at fucking Tiffany Stratton. You know what I'm saying? Look at those people, right? And there's more. Like you could go towards the Randy Ortons and the fucking John Cena's and the Batistas and everything else. Even Brock Lesnar. They all came out of developmental. Right? They all came out of developmental. And like those were stars that was created from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? Roman Reigns, another great example. They all came from that, they all came from the ground up, right? Now, look at, people from the indies, right? How the fuck are you a homegrown talent from an indie promotion, but you wrestle in other promotions? That don't make any fucking sense. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people who are synonymous to some promotions for long. See, that's the thing too. You got to be, even if you wrestle for a promotion that you've been wrestling for like God knows how long, right? It doesn't mean that you are a homegrown talent. Like you are more heavily associated with that promotion as opposed to being a creation of that promotion, right? So, case in point, AJ Styles, right? People could say, well, he was Mr. TNA for 14 years. You know what I mean? He was there from the pure beginning and such. But to me, when I think of AJ Styles, I don't think of TNA. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yes, he's synonymous with it. Yes, he is synonymous with the promotion. Yes, because this is what made, this is basically what made him who he was, right? It made him the person that he became, right? But a lot of people seem to forget that he came from WCW. He came from WCW. A lot of people seem to forget that. But in terms of like star power, okay, I get it. But we don't know where he could have been if WCW would have been alive. We don't know. Nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows. Same thing with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is heavily associated with TNA, right? He's been there for almost the same amount of years that AJ Styles was been there for, right? But here's the caveat with those two. At the same time, they were wrestling for Ring of Honor. You know what I'm saying? They were wrestling for Ring of Honor, another fucking independent. You know what I'm saying? And they were also wrestling for other independents too. Especially AJ. Like he was wrestling for a shitload of other independents. He had a WWE tryout, back in the early 2000s and such. His time, he wasn't ready. You know, he's not a homegrown talent from TNA. He never was a homegrown talent from TNA. He wasn't built, from TNA. He wasn't. TNA just happened to be the the national platform that gave him an opportunity, right, to become the star that he became, right? He wasn't a creation of TNA. He wasn't. And this is what I'm talking about with the indies. The indies, they don't create, they don't create they don't create homegrown talent. They don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, how the fuck? I give you another example, right? Look at the Young Bucks, right? So the Young Bucks, you would think that, well, they came from Ring of Honor. They was a Ring of Honor for like so many years and such. They cut their teeth from Ring of Honor. Cool, right? They were, heavily associated with Ring of Honor. Here's the caveat. They also wrestled for PWG, right? Which a lot of people say that was a caveat of theirs. Like, that was their quote-unquote home and stuff. They also wrestled in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They also wrestled for Evolve, too. So they're not homegrown talent of Ring of Honor. They've never been homegrown talent of Ring of Honor. Same thing with Adam Cole. Adam Cole's the exact same fucking thing. Adam Cole, he basically, he wrestled in Ring of Honor. He wrestled in Ring of Honor. He cut his teeth in terms of superstardom in Ring of Honor, right? But he wasn't a creation. He was not a creation of Ring of Honor at all. You know what I'm saying? He also wrestled in PWG. He wrestled in Evolve. He wrestled in, in all these other high profile promotions. So you got to think. You got to think about, homegrown talent. Shit. MJF is not a homegrown talent AEW. He's not. He's fucking not. You know what I'm saying? You want to know where he was a star in? Right? Major MLW. He was a star in Major League Wrestling, right? He basically, he cut his teeth in terms of superstardom in Major League Wrestling. And then, he went to AEW where it made him the star that he is. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to homegrown talent and such, there was a big fucking difference. Like I said, the indies, again, how the fuck can you become a homegrown talent of a promotion if you are wrestling in other promotions every week? You know what I'm saying? You're wrestling in different promotions every single week. You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes no sense. And you can be in a promotion for about, like fucking close to 5 years. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that, that you're a homegrown talent there. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that that they created you. They're like, you're the one who created your brand. Nobody else. They just gave you the platform to do what the fuck you do. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. That's the difference that a lot of people seem to misconstrue. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, the indies is not a developmental territory. It's not. And shit was like that back then too. I mean, Sting is basically Mr. WCW, right? He's Mr. WCW, but he created created that character on his own. Is Sting a true is he a true homegrown talent of WCW? It depends, but he's heavily associated with WCW. Like, he is WCW. Like, when you think of WCW, you automatically think of Sting, because that's the company that made him the person that he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, same thing with DDP and Booker T and stuff. So they're not really, when I think of homegrown talent, I think of a company who creates that talent from the ground up. That's what I think about. You know what I'm saying? Not fucking taking people from the outside that's already, that is already kind of sort of established and such, and just mold them into what they want. That's not it. I mean, yes, there are people who they take. Okay, like, look at The Undertaker, right? The Undertaker basically, like, Vince created the character, right? Vince created the character and such. The Undertaker, Mark Calloway is not a homegrown WWF talent. He never was. He never was. You know, I mean, they built him up. You know, they took something, then they built him up and such, but he never came from a developmental and stuff. That's what I'm talking about. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? So this video is going to go up in about, let me see, right now it's 8:17. This video is going to go up at about between 9:30 and 10:30 and such. All right, because I'm about to get home, about to go cook some food, and then I'm going to program the video and everything. So I will catch y'all tomorrow. All right? Peace.